Welcome back. We're here to cover the divine partnership energy for divine feminine. If you do want to see the joint connection, remember to click the bell and subscribe, and you will get notified as to when that is coming up. Separately, as you do get these videos, and I do put a notification out, they are coming through via the community tab now, as we do only get 3 notifications in 48 hours. This is the easiest way I can provide those updates to you. Now, we do have the divine masculine, feminine, and karmic out simultaneously. And then on Sundays, we cover the joint connection if you want to come through and join. Separately, if you do want the next week's edition, you can join a YouTube membership. And I do put that information in the information box directly below. Or you can, as is written on the screen, you can book a twin flame reading or an energy update. But I hope to see you for the joint connection. Let's take a look at the divine feminine energy and what I see coming through for April. Now, this is a pivotal point, especially because we are in between the 2 eclipse energies. Pre-warned for this can be an intense month. Very transformative, very changeable. Really, it is the first house placement, this eclipse. There can be some frustrations that we are moving through, but it's a little bit like a diamond. We are going through a rebirth. We are going through a new chapter. This eclipse does happen on the 8th. We will quickly touch base with the eclipse and when I see those energies playing out. Number 1. Let's take a look at the eclipse. It's happening on the 8th of April, 2024. It is a total solar eclipse, not a lunar, a solar. And it's in the house of Aries at 19 degrees. And feel free to go through and you can listen to Divine Masculines. It does cover the Sabian symbol of what I see coming through for this energy. But really, this can be a portal where we can be having some frustration. Okay, so by knowing that we are having these frustrations, we can be prepared for them. We can actually deal with them more effectively, but it is going to be a new chapter. Now, with these new chapters, like I said, it's the first house placement. It can feel very impactful, what could I say? Very transformative, very impactful. It's Mars energy. We can feel things are popping off during that time. And that can cause some element of frustration. We will look at the monthly energy to understand how we can navigate those circumstances, but definitely from a point of view, we can tend to feel as though there is a new chapter coming. And Mars is like burnout energy. So definitely don't be surprised if you are feeling some sense of burnout, some sense of things shifting, so to speak, during this cycle. So let's take a look at what we need to be aware of. Number 1, initially, we will still have the sun in the house of Aries. So, it's really, you may have a lot on your plate. You may feel as though you're still coming off the back end of the Libra eclipse. You also need to know that we will be going into the shadow energy of Mercury retrograde, and it is retrograding in the same location it was previously, which is almost a do-over. There could have been something that we feel we left behind, something that we weren't able to address, that we're going to readdress here. Also, by the 15th, we will be making a conjunction to Chiron. And from an intellectual point of view, I would say really caring for your wellness and your health. This can also be your nutrition. Venus also by the 5th is going to move into Aries. So for those of you Libra and Aries, you can be having some big changes. But at a personal level, at a mundane level, I do see spiritually there can be some rebirths for you, divine feminine, in various areas. Now, this crowning energy, there is a judgment that's coming, but there almost is a change. And it can be like it's almost like a crossing point. A T-section in the road, so to speak, a left or right, and I feel the judgment is going to be made. We can at times feel like we need to look at the devil in the detail. I also do feel spiritually, the best way we can see clear is maybe waiting till the energy has dissipated. So it can be reactive. We might have to make spur of the decisions. You also spiritually may find that this is a very frustrating time, My advice to you through this is be prepared. You're going through a rebirth. Document your frustrations. Have your spiritual tribe. We do have, like I mentioned, a YouTube membership that does support those of you going through your ascension process. And that can be the best place to actually vent, but you can be asserting yourself at this point in time. Now we're looking to the past position. And the first thing I'm noticing is there's something uncompleted. It's something to do with your journey. And again, we just did have, like I mentioned in the previous video, we just moved through the previous eclipse and it was a South Node eclipse. And we've got journey here in reverse, which means there's unfinished business. There's something that didn't come full circle. There's something that we're readdressing. I can see that a new chapter is coming, but we're going to do that old situation differently. And that's one thing I can say. So spiritually and intuitively, you could feel a sense that if you can get away from your ego, your psychic energy is going to be stronger. But when we're heated, we're not going to see that. You also may spiritually know what needs to end. And I do feel getting into alignment, you may feel this spur of energy, spur of intuition with these circumstances. And I definitely see healthy boundaries surrounding family. We might just want to be a little bit careful when we are asserting ourselves and being very sure about a path we're going down, especially relating to our twin flame path. I'm really looking at this almost like a marriage energy, the devil in the detail, facing our shadows. We could be getting two vibrations here, a push-pull dynamic, some tense points and needs to change. Also, the circumstances surrounding the twin flame path may be going through this, both in our individual lives as well as the direct situation. And I do see there's a rebirth here, but there can be this apprehension relating to it is that, an element of innocence is lost. Foundational, the place of self, which is very Aries. I see the Trinity energy. I see peace returning after a storm. But I do see there is a Phoenix rising in divine feminine. And you're trying to find the balance between peace within with your psyche and understanding everything happens for a reason. I do feel your guides are trying to come in and intervene and actually communicate with you. This can be going through in your dream states. I also feel from a spiritual point of view, you're trying to harmonize both your personal inner masculine and feminine. And I think because of this, you're really looking at yourself and saying, hey, what am I needing? What are my feelings aside from my trauma, aside from what I'm physically seeing in the 3D? I feel if you can remove the ego, and it's very hard to do that when we're triggered. So the best time you're going to get these downloads relating to your twin flame path, in my opinion, is going to be post-eclipse in Aries when things kind of calm down. But this can be a time that is going to need a lot of you. You can be having issues with sleeping. You can feel that your Kundalini is rising. The other thing is, if you're overly aggressive, I would, from a chakra point of view, you could try testing this. This is not medical advice, but this is something that comes through in your chakras. I would personally say be careful of any meat food groups, red food groups, and try reducing them at a point to see if that calms that overactive base chakra and sacral chakra. A lot of you also can find that if you are menstruating, your cycles will be heavier. So really keeping your fluid up, doing things that are good for your body, that are going to kind of ground you and anchor you in. And if you are going to extremes, I would feel, the need to rest, be that's sitting back having a cup of tea, just taking 5 for yourself, needing some spiritual space so that you can integrate. I do see this as a very fast-paced energy. The funny thing is we are during this time having a comet come through that is called the Devil Comet. One of the patrons, as mentioned in previous videos, mentioned the fact that it did look like a dragon, and ironically, we are in the year of the dragon. I do feel this is like the Phoenix rising, and I do feel this is a rebirth, and I feel you're going to be a more assertive version of yourself. And whatever this spiritual energy is that's transforming through you, I don't see this to be negative. I see this in the long run as something very positive. This can be communication that is coming through with your twin. And I see in the overall energy, we're going to quickly move through and do some clarifying. Okay, what do we need to know about this crowning energy for Divine Feminine during the first week, moving into the second, and through the eclipse, please? What do we need to know? And feel free, if you do need a booking, you can go to the link directly below. I do provide personal bookings, both from a psychic point of view and more. Yeah, definitely. Oh, gosh. Okay. This is almost where Divine Feminine's leveling up and saying, look, no karmic energy. I'm going to stick up for myself. I know what I want. If that's something you want, yes, okay, I'm open to it. And I feel it's coming through in your vibration, but it's also being sent through to DM. And the ironic thing is, when we're afraid to do that, you know, the place of self and where we actually get our union energy is when we choose ourselves and when we're at peace with that. And we can say to ourselves, look, I know who I am. I know what I want. And I'm not scared about waiting. I'm not scared about saying my truth. Okay. There were frustrations, and I do feel relating to the past. Consistency was difficult. Also, second guessing yourself was sending out a spiritual belief system to universe. It was actually blocking some of your blessings. This wasn't all on you, Divine Feminine. This was an ascension process you spiritually were going through. They're also saying to be very careful who you confide in. There could have been some difficulties, especially because if you have experienced karmic energies. There could have been trust issues that were really cropping up in these situations. Interesting. Okay. They're also making reference to the point that this is a spiritual connection. Nothing ever can be taken from you that is truly yours. There could have been a shadow energy of a past tense individual that was wrapping up. This could have been on either side of the fence. Okay, there's a rebirth here. There also could be a circumstance that you're navigating around tribe. If there has been a conversation or this person is picking up on it psychically, there was a need for maturity to come through. There could have been a conversation to do with this. You could have been worried about their wellness, how they were dealing with stress levels, etc. This could have been from an intuitive point of view or a 3D. Yeah, something is coming to an end, and I feel many feminines are picking up on it. Okay, what is this place of self that we need to know about, please? I'm noticing the blue. There can be a very assertive conversation. Something that was tying you down, something that was tying you back. I feel both of you directly are ascending. Both of you directly during this eclipse are having a huge transformation. You can initially butt heads. Just be aware of that. This may not be personal, but we could be making things personal, even though some things are. Yep, definitely there's going to be a large conversation. Clarify come through. I feel this is 3 times. I feel this is 3 ways that this can be done. I do feel this individual has gone through quite a bit. Some of you could be getting some information that is a surprise to you. You also could be taking your mask off and start being very transparent to do with your feelings towards your twin, how you're seeing things. But I feel you've been very protective, and I feel it's after the eclipse that you can feel more assertive in this and more confident. I'm also getting, you can see beyond the veil, and if there's something being hidden from you, it's like I'm hearing the term, you may not be making it easy on this individual. Oh, God, that's a weird term I heard. I don't know why I heard that. Statutory limitations. There could be a divorce coming through. There could be, it's almost like you're being very determined of how you feel this needs to be, you could have a viewpoint of what needs to go, what needs to be removed. We've got the reunion card here. You're being very assertive. This is what we need to do to get from point A to point B. I feel a conversation coming in. I feel you're wanting to talk about the past in order to move forward. I feel you're being very assertive, and things you've never said before could come up. You're wanting some clarity. You'll be more open if you can get some clarity in this, and I feel it is the Phoenix rising. I feel because you're choosing not to chase this, it's coming in towards you. Yeah, this is eventuating in this person chasing you. It's almost like the runner-chaser dynamic is shifting. You can kind of alleviate that with this outcome card, because what I do directly see from this is what we're not wanting to do is get us into the runner mode where the other person is chasing, but get us into the detached mode, which can be similar to the runner mode. And that person naturally will pivot towards us. My advice to you this week is be prepared. This can be intense. Be careful what we're saying. Be careful how we're communicating. Thinking really before we're speaking, but being prepared for some really large things cropping up. The other thing I would say from the dragon energy is the outcome. It's funny, the yellow energies here is being careful around fire and anger around the home, looking at your home security, looking at the power dynamics happening within home. I also feel for some of you could be extremely fertile, so pre-warned, forearmed. Love and light. Don't forget to click the bell. We will be hosting the Twin Flame Joint Connection update. Come through and see where the joint energy's at. Don't forget to look at the masculine, feminine, and karmic update. That's out now. And if you do want the next editions, feel free to come through and join a YouTube membership. And all the perks that are involved are hosted on the intro video on our YouTube channel. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Take care, beautifuls, and feel free to drop me a comment. I read all of the comments, and I love to see how this is playing out for you.